John, looking into the Ulster Championship, I suppose this is why you get into management, to be involved on days like this, coming up against Fermanagh, the big days. You must be looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Most people know me from club scene and various scenes. Championship is all I really care about, and I have been fortunate to be involved in championships in the latter stages. And I think for any manager maybe who wasn't used me with provincial club championship, which to me is almost there as regards the county scene. And I've been there a number of times, thankfully, and I've learned from that. But also the fact that through the clubs I have managed some of the better, particularly in Derry, some of the better county players, and I've developed those players, so I know what standard a county player has to be, I know what's required. But thankfully I have a very good team around me this year. Our training and just general organisation is excellent. There is a lot more work attached to it. But I'm enjoying it. But the be all and the end all is championship. McKenna Cup, if you mention the McKenna Cup now, you'll be laughed at. It was good for Derry on the night that it happened, because for something like 12 years or more since Derry won that competition. And you could see it in the supporters' faces that night and the number that turned up to Armagh. We had good performances in the league. We had one bad blip, but that came about by unavailability of players. We had too many players involved with the university at 11, and that's something that has to be addressed in the future, whoever in Derry, because that should never happen again. There were far too many players there, and unfortunately our midfield variants started there. We lost Joe Differ and Niall Holly, and they're only on the way back just now after losing James Conway. It's very hard to sustain that, and people say you have no midfield, but that's unfair. The Fair have done very well. We beat Tyrone twice a year, and we've beaten Kildare, good teams. We've gone to Sligo and won with 14 men after 10 minutes. We've beaten Meath at their own game. We came strong in the last 10-15 minutes. We've done very well. Sligo, but the one game that disappoints me that we conceded one bad goal against Donegal, which cost us, and only for that we have been promoted.
The league was encouraging. Looking into the championship, I suppose everybody's going to make their favourites against Fermanagh. Derry were playing Division 2, Fermanagh were playing Division 4, and I suppose Fermanagh's troubles that they've had down have been very well documented. You can't afford to let that into the head, can you?
Well, I keep thinking to myself, if Fermanagh have a problem, that is their problem. We in Derry have our own problems regards the players, and I mean, if I documented every bit of problem I have had with all these injuries, people would say I was making excuses. When you read into these things and look at it, maybe they're using it looking for sympathy, and it is the truth, and they're wounded. But then there's nothing as dangerous as a wounded animal, and we had to prepare for that. It's going out 50-50. We know what happened 3 years ago with Fermanagh when Derry were Division 1 team, Fermanagh maybe Division 3 or whatever, and what happened in the Ulster semi-final at Oma. So I mean, the same thing can happen. Look at the last year where Roscommon Division 4 team and won the Connacht Championship, and along the way Mayo and Sligo were beaten. Beg your pardon, Mayo and Galway were beaten. Ulster is no different. It's a graveyard for favourites. We know that over the years. Until Tyrone last year won it twice in a row. Who won it twice in a row years before that? So every team falls by the wayside in Ulster. And Tyrone won All Ireland's by not winning Ulster. So we have got to take this game very, very seriously. We'll have to take it seriously, because while Fermanagh may not have strength and depth, they have a nucleus of very, very good players, and if those players could hit it on the one time and peak as they're capable of playing, we'll be in big trouble. Unless we can counter that and do better, then we're going to be in trouble.
Looking at the championship as a whole, it's maybe looks as open as it's been in a while. It used to be, well, certainly over the last 10 years, you would have looked at Tyrone and Armagh and said, it's probably going to come from one of them. But Tyrone and Armagh are still there, of course, but Donegal have looked good. Derry have looked decent during the league. So there's a few sides in there about that could, maybe lift the Anglo Celts.
Again, it's a graveyard, and you look at it for Sunday coming up. Antrim again are going up there to Ballabofey, and Donegal haven't done well in that venue. They were nearly as bad as we were this year in Celtic Park. But these sort of things rest on people's minds, and if Donegal go out there in two minds and looking over their shoulder, Antrim have an excellent team. On their day would beat anybody. And they've been there and have been in Ulster final 2 years ago. So I mean, they're no mean team, and I think all will have their work cut out. And then the ones again go on and play Cavan. The other side of the draw, you have Tyrone, Monaghan there as well. So if we get through on Sunday, we know that what's in front of us. It's Armagh or Down, but we can't even think of those teams. We'll have to think of the 22nd, and hopefully around 5, half 5, that we come out at least a point in front.